everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about stepping stones. We're going to talk about stepping stones towards God's path and or distractions. Or is it a stepping stone towards the path that God has me on, or is it a distraction of useless information? I'm not saying specific information is always useless, but I mean once you learn it, you're like, is that it? Is that really all I was supposed to gain from that specific situation? Is that something that was really supposed to help me down the road? It's kind of like when you learn fun facts or you go to school for a specific thing. It's all super wonderful and dandy. Or you're, learning a new language or whatever the case may be. And then you go when you're finished with it and you're like, was that it? Was that all I was supposed to gain from that information? This will differentiate of, is this God's path? Or is this a distraction of something to learn, something gained, or is it my own desire? Kind of like the idea of unfulfilled with the information. Information was lovely, I had a great time, but I don't feel fulfilled. When you let God lead your path, the distractions will disappear and the doors of those paths that you're supposed to be on will continue to open, and fulfillment of those things will start to kick in. For his ways are higher than your ways, and his thoughts are higher than your thoughts. And I will post all of the scriptures up in this top corner. Any other miscellaneous information that you may want to know, I'll post in this upper little corner here, and the description box below, and that different challenges, questions that you want to get asked or that you kind of seen and skipped through. You can always go back and read it, or just go through the video and pause it at that specific location to read the entire thing. I usually put it up there for about 3 to 5 seconds and then let it pass through. But we are going to continue here with some examples and some other information. Today we're going to check out James 3:3 and James 3:11. I have my NLT today, so I'll read it exactly from the NLT, James 3:3, and then I will read James 3:11, and then I will do a little explanation. Okay, so James 3:3 states, "We can make a large horse go wherever we want by means of a small bit in its mouth." And now we're going to read James 3:11, which happens to be on the next page at the very top here. Well, it's actually a little bit at the bottom in the top here. "Does a spring of water bubble out of both fresh water and bitter water?" When you let God lead, okay, it basically is like producing fresh water instead of bitter water. And when you let him maneuver that little bit, it's kind of like if you have any animals and they have a bit in their mouth, it's kind of like they gain that, oh, this is where we're supposed to go moment. Okay, it's kind of like just this little bit of can turn that entire animal to the exact location that you wanted them to go. And the more that you work with that animal, the more they listen to the path that they're supposed to be on. And then the path that they're supposed to be on ends up being the path they're supposed to be on. Okay, so, when you're leading a horse, you're like, actually, we're supposed to go through here. And then, the more they do it, they're like, oh, that was actually a good place to go. Oh, that makes sense, because the rider is the one that is creating that movement. They're the one that's like, this is the way you go. This is the thing that we're learning today. So when you let God lead, that's basically what's happening, but it's always for your good. And I've like that scripture of Jeremiah 29:11, and I quote that one a lot, but it makes sense for your good, and his ways are higher than your ways, and his thoughts are higher than your thoughts, causing that water to turn fresh. Next, we're going to look at Isaiah 11:3 and 4. Okay, so I'm going to read Isaiah 11:3 and 4, and then I will do a little explanation. Okay, so Isaiah 11:3 and 4 states, "He will delight in obeying the Lord. He will not judge by appearance, nor make a decision based on hearsay. He will give justice to the poor and make fair decisions for the exploited. The earth will shake at the force of his word, and one breath from the mouth will destroy the wicked." What it's stating here is basically when you let God lead you, like it said in James 3:11, and now Isaiah 11:3 and 4, you will cause you to delight, okay? And that little bit of turn and movement will create the truth that sets you free. If you ever look at John 8:32, it'll say the truth will set you free. It's basically stating the truth sets you free here. Okay, so it delights in obeying the Lord, and that he will not judge by appearance. He always judges the insides and not the outside, the spirit that causes that information. So when you're looking at someone or something, always look at the inside of that and stating, is that the thing that's giving me life? Is it the thing that's giving me fresh water? Or is it the thing that's giving me that bitter water? And is it causing the bit to move in the correct location? Or what is on top of the horse causing it to go in the wrong direction? Every time you do something, kind of, ask yourself that question. Is this something that God is leading me towards? Is he the one guiding me here? Or am I the one guiding me here? Okay. Am I free ranging in my pasture? The last thing we're going to read is Ezra 6:13-14, and it talks about the temple. Okay, the temple being finished a little bit before the Passover, and how when you listen to God's words and you do what God asked you to do, you end up having that fulfillment that you were looking for. So it states, the governor of province was west of the Euphrates River, and Shatar, Bozani, and their colleagues compiled at once with their command of King Darius. So the Jewish elders continued their work, and they were greatly encouraged by the preaching of the prophets Haggai and Zechariah, son of Iddo. The temple was finally finished, as had been commanded by the God of Israel and decreed by Cyrus Darius and Artaxerxes, the king of Persia. So it was ended up being finished. They really believe a little bit near March, and then it was completely finished by the time Passover happened, which was April, and today's versions of near Easter time. And if you have follow the resurrection day and all of that, you'll get the exact kind of correct timings of those. They say that by April 21st of that year that it was finished, and that was BC during that time. So what they're stating is, when you follow God and you let him lead, he ends up following the paths that you want him to be, that he wants you to be on. So they ended up, celebrating Passover and turning their ways to the way of the Lord during that time, and all the ones that had followed back away from their wicked ways and into the ways that God wanted them to be on. Now that we've gained all the information, one question. Is it something that is a stepping stone, or is it a distraction? That's the question of the week. Please post in the comments below what you think your distraction is, or any other encouraging words that you would like. I hope everybody has a wonderful time of the day, whatever time you are watching this video. Thank you for watching. And please like, comment, subscribe. Subscribing is just hitting that notification button stating every time I post a video, you will get a notification. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.